Richard Jefferson. Good morning, RJ. I guess the first thing I got to ask you is when LeBron said that and you were right there. I mean, what did you think?
I thought it was honest. I think it was a rare, honest moment. I think, this is not like some drama. This is not like guys fighting. It was more of like, hey, one of your former teammates said something that wasn't directed at you, but was kind of, a lot of people not assumed it was about you, but was more of like, wow, like he doesn't think this or doesn't think that. Like, what's kind of your take on that when you hear this? Because he was in the middle of the NBA Finals, and I think that was the other part is when you hear this stuff come out after Game 2 of the NBA Final, because inadvertently, those type of things can put pressure on a player. If Bron misses a shot or you saw him pass to Danny Green, all of a sudden the internet and everyone's talking, see, this is what so-and-so's talking about. And so it was just more of, I think, the statement and the timing. I think it was probably like 50-50, both statements.
RJ, thank you first off for waking up early in the morning. I know it's 6:30 on the West Coast and for doing this. But you were part of that team that won that chip. Why is there a weird energy between Kyrie and LeBron?
I honestly, this is real. Like, I understand, both players are very, very talented. They both just have a presence about them, but I really don't know. I truly don't know. You look at great players, that have been on teams, whether it's Shaq and Kobe. You've seen conversations now between Pippen and Jordan. I think sometimes when you are a great player in your own right, sometimes it's just very, very, I don't want to say share the spotlight, but there's always this like give and take, this pull back and forth of, who is what and what can I accomplish. And I think Kyrie wants to accomplish stuff on his own. I don't know how much he, enjoys being associated with, being Bron's, sidekick or any of that stuff. And I think sometimes you can outgrow those moments. And I think they're just a weird energy and I can't really explain it.
RJ, but why is it that we find Kyrie continuously in these type of positions? I mean, it just happened again with media day with the Nets. He said that he wasn't going to talk to the media, that he was actually potentially going to send a letter in a jokingly manner. Why is this a consistent thing with Kai?
I don't know. Like, I'm going to be really honest. I really haven't spoken to Kai very, very much. Brief conversations over the past couple of years. There's no doubt about his talent. There's no doubt about his ability. He's one of the most unique players, the NBA has ever seen. I think he has the best handle. I think his ability to finish, over size for a guy his size it's him, AI. There's only a couple of them. But he finds himself in these positions, I think, at times because I think Kai is a very open-minded free thinker, but he also understands that whether it's Uncle Drew, signature shoe by Nike, playing in multiple NBA finals, like when you are in that spot, it does put you in a position where people hold on to your words. Your words have weight. Uncle Drew was like the most watched thing on YouTube. It's like, dude, like he's a superstar. And sometimes, when you're a superstar, your words can get twisted. They can get manipulated, but you also have to understand that your words have a ton of weight. So when you decide that you're going to not talk to the media in New York City, like what part of you think that's going to fly? Like, what part of it? Now, listen, you can do the bare minimum. You can do the both teams played hard. You can do the I'm only here so I don't get fined. But truly, what in professional sports over the past 50 years lets you know that you can go into the New York media area and say, yeah, I'm just not talking to the media anymore?
Richard, let me ask you this, because I didn't play basketball. Obviously, I played in New York. I played football, and I feel like I played at a high level, and I don't need validation from anybody. But do you think that Kyrie, as great as he's been and who he is, much to the disparity of the things that you're saying, does he need validation? Is that it?
Well, first of all, it is so impressive for you to undersell yourself like that, Keyshawn. Just like, I like to feel like I played at a high level. Man, come on, man. You were a monster. Don't all of a sudden be shy.
Well, that was more for the Twitter trolls that Jay will respond
okay.
That was for the setup, RJ.
Okay.
To keep the drama,
okay. I was like,
dramatic version
don't
of the
you
setup.
dare. Don't you dare do that, Keyshawn. But no, I don't think it's weird. I think he wants validation, but he doesn't want validation. I think he wants validation, but doesn't want people to know he wants validation, right? It's like he wants to win a championship. So he teamed up with Kevin Durant. I think Kyrie's goals are still to win championships and still to, go and prove that he is, one of the best players on the planet, which I think so. But he never wants to come out and not necessarily say it, but I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder. I'm playing to go and prove to people that I can be a leader of the team. These are not statements, but then you see how he kind of maneuvers and how he goes about things. And let me say this about Kyrie. Kyrie has done so much for his community. He's done a ton of stuff donating, I believe over $1 million to, the WNBA players who set out for social justice. So I'm not going to just sit here and talk about Kyrie, the basketball player. Kyrie, the human being, has done a ton of things. This is us talking about Kyrie, the basketball player. So make no mistake, no one's sitting up here saying Kyrie's bad, Kyrie's this. It's just sometimes there are positions that whether the media or himself put themselves in.
To the NBA and the men everyone's talking about, James Harden. There was a beard sighting Tuesday at the Toyota Center. Our insider agent Wojnarowski reporting Harden received his COVID test then. This comes after missing the first 2 days of training camp. Sources also telling Woj and our Rockets reporter Tim McMahon that Harden has indicated to the team he would be open to a trade to the 76ers or possibly another contender. We got Woj here to help us break this down. Harden now setting his sights on Philly in a reunion with Daryl Morey. Woj, how likely is a possibility that from the 76ers perspective?
Tony, there have been no real discussions between the 76ers and Rockets. And the one thing Daryl Morey, the new president in Philadelphia, obviously the former GM in Houston, has been adamant about is that he is not breaking up the Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons partnership in Philly. And without doing that, it makes it very difficult to find a pathway to a deal with Houston. Not impossible, but very difficult to find a Harden deal, because one of the things that Houston really wants in any deal for Harden, is an elite young player. Obviously, Ben Simmons is that, but Philadelphia has shown no inclination to move him.
Well, it is crystal clear that Harden wants to move on, but the Rockets, under new management here, and just traded for John Wall with hopes that would keep him in Houston. How are they viewing his wishes with the season quickly approaching?
Tony, Houston wants to play the long game here. They want to get James Harden back to practice on the court in this preseason into the season and see how it goes with John Wall. See if they can get Wall to recapture, his all-star form and give Harden a reason to perhaps have second thoughts on wanting to leave the Rockets. They're in no rush to trade him. They have him under contract for at least this season and next season. And so they'll continue to listen to offers for James Harden, but to trade a player who they consider one of the best 2, 3, 4 in all of the NBA, they're going to have to get back a massive haul. That doesn't appear to be a package that's available to them right now, and they just want to try to get James Harden back on the court and see how it goes with John Wall.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who blinks first in this stare down. We're going to get to see the Rockets, though, take the court for the first time Friday in a preseason contest against the